Call the Marlborough City Council to order on February 8th at 8:01. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, for this council meeting, we'll be implementing the governor's executive order regarding relief for the open meeting law. This allows the councilors to participate remotely. All the votes will be taken by a roll call. There are 2 public hearings, and I will go over the process for participating in the public hearings before agenda item number 2. There are 12 items on this evening's agenda, and I will now ask the clerk to call the roll to confirm attendance, please.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner is present.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette is present.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas is present.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera is present.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish is present.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin is present.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis is present.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram is present.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing is present.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman is present.
And Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby is present.
11 present.
All present. Okay, with that, I will now ask the clerk to read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting, January 25th, 2021.
Councilor Tenera.
President, accept and place on file, please.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Oram. Mute.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
And Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
11 yes, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file the minutes is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Councilor Tenera.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to allow the mayor to speak regarding COVID vaccine rollout.
Motion's made and seconded to suspend the rules to allow the mayor to speak on the vaccination efforts in the city. I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
11 yes, sir.
The motion to suspend the rules to allow the mayor to speak is approved. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. Thank you very much for allowing me to take a couple minutes tonight and just give a quick update on where we are with our COVID-19 nightmare, I guess you could call it. It's been almost a year now, and we've all been attacking it together throughout the world, throughout the city, and so we still continue to do the testing down at New England Sports Center. We're down to about a third of what we were doing before, but they're still down there on a daily basis. They're not going to be down there for when snow is in the forecast. They skip the day, but for the most part, they're there every day, and they're still testing on a regular basis. Our positivity rate over the last 14 days has dropped to just about 7%, and we're down to about 140, approximately 140 cases at this point. So we're really moving in the right direction. It's come a long way, but we're getting back down where it's been controllable. This is the lowest we've been since around the Thanksgiving holiday. So we're still in that mode, but we're moving over to the vaccine mode because Obviously, everyone's anxious to get the vaccines, and what we've seen for a rollout from Boston has not been good. Been very, very frustrated with the number of vaccines that have been available to us. I know there's announcements every day about new locations, and I think Councilor Landers and former Councilor Clancy went through the process and were set up an appointment and were actually successful, but had to go out of town, which doesn't make sense to me because we have a hospital that's receiving about 100 vaccines a day, and they're in the state system. So we have people coming to Marlborough at the hospital with a very limited supply from all over the state to get vaccinated. And then we have the people in Marlborough that are going through the same system and being told they have to go elsewhere. We've actually walked a couple people through the process just to find out how easy it is, and with the phone number, it worked pretty well. We were successful, but there were 3 or 4 phone calls needed to set up one appointment for a couple of our senior citizens in the city. But we wanted to make sure we went through the process, so if people called us and asked us questions, we would have those answers. So at this time, phase 1 is just about done for everyone that wanted the vaccine in the city. All our first responders are completed, and actually we're going through this week, and there were a few done prior to this, but this week they'll be receiving their second shots. I believe we have 380 that will be rolling out this week for first responders for their second shots. We also have gotten all our senior housing complexes done. All 3 of the public housing and Academy Knoll has been completed for everyone that wanted to get the shot. And different locations, they're running different percentages. So although we haven't hit 100%, I think they're running, I think some of the locations were like 75% of the people wanted the shot. So the senior housing is done. All our assisted living facilities in the city are done. With the assistance of CVS and Walgreens and Bouvier's Pharmacy and our own health department, we were able to get all of them completed. We're starting our first clinic this week on Wednesday down at the senior center. It was probably an hour or 2 for us to completely fill up the appointments we had. We only have about 180 vaccines to give out that day. We've kind of grabbed all we could, but we're on an allotment of 100 vaccines a week, which is extremely disappointing. Again, just very, very frustrating, and I continue to let everyone in Boston know how frustrated I am, and some of you would see me when I get a little frustrated. So some of the conversations haven't gone well, but my feeling is I'm going to demand what I can for the city of Marlborough. Again, we're starting our vaccines this week at the clinic. The Council on Aging group and Trish Pope and her team have kind of transferred into a mode of being a data bank, a phone bank, to help our seniors in registering to get it all set up. So when they walk in there, they're all registered and ready to go. So they've turned their staff into a phone bank down there, and that's working pretty well. We're being very particular about when you can come down and when you can go in the building. You know, you can't show up an hour in advance and just sit there. So we're going to be very restrictive about that. I believe it's 10 minutes before your appointment. Please show up. You're not getting in the building till your appointment is actually up. So again, they're going to try to keep this on a pretty regulated process and make sure we get everyone done. If someone tries to get down there that is not 75 years of age or a first responder, they will not get a shot. I talked to the hospital today. They've had a lot of that. Even though the state allows you to register, it doesn't stop you. There is a signature there that says you're signing it under the penalties of perjury. Some forgot to read that clause, and they're showing up at the hospital, and the hospital is not letting them have a shot. They're saying, come back when it's your time. So And we have to do that, otherwise, we're never going to get through our population. So we're taking people over 75 that are Marlborough residents. It's as simple as that. It's pretty black and white, and we're going to try to hold to that because, like I said, we're very limited. If we continue to get the 100 dosages a week, we're looking at 7.5 years to get the whole city vaccinated. So I can tell you that's not going to happen, but the way it is now, talking to the Lieutenant Governor the other night, we were at, I believe, 86 or 87,000 doses throughout the state that the state was getting to distribute out, and that's been increased to just over 100,000, which didn't impress me too much when we're talking about the population we have. So we're just going to keep pounding the table and hopefully very shortly start getting a reasonable supply. I know that the governor has talked about the rollout at these mega sites. Mega sites don't work. The logistics of it does not work. Having people come from all over the state when we have a hospital here does not work. People driving to Gillette Stadium does not work. So we can open all the sites we want, but I think it's much better with more general locations, but specific to different communities, so we can organize it and get our people vaccinated. So with that, I want to thank you very much for your time, and I'll answer any questions that, I'll try to answer any questions that I have.
Councilor Oram.
Mr. President. Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Mayor, as you just noted, 100 doses per day or per week, that's just not enough, obviously, for our city. But at the same time, is this the incentive of the state to send people to these mega sites, and why can't Marlborough consider a mega site?
Well, with such a limited supply, the mega sites are running out also. So if we opened up a mega site in Marlborough, and first of all, we'd have to find the location for this because it's a lot harder than setting up a testing site because they have to get out of their car and actually get people comfortable to take the shot. But if we were to do that, it's not going to be regulated to just Marlborough area residents. Again, we'll be taking people from all over the state, and that's not the intent of this. I need to get 40,000 people vaccinated through the first and the second dose as quickly as possible. That's my goal.
And on that note, Mr. Mayor, as you said, we got 40,000 people in Marlborough. Do we have the plans in place to run an emergency dispensing site for 40,000 people?
I have, the last call I was on with the Lieutenant Governor, there were different communities talking about needing help, needing a plan. I just sent her a message immediately and says, all I want is vaccines. We have the infrastructure in place, we have a plan in place, we need vaccines. So if they send me 5,000 next week, I promise you we're going to get those on the street. We're not anticipating that. Like I said, the hospital itself is limited to 100 a day. 100 a day. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that we're talking about this. Bouvia's Pharmacy is helping us out because they've been getting some. And then we have a dermatologist in the city that ended up with some vaccines and called to see if he could help us. It's like, if you have them, we'll use them. So we have the infrastructure in place to cover any vaccines they're going to send our way.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's assuring. And you said it's assuring too to know we do have that private-public relationship with some of our pharmacies. So that's another good opportunity for Marlborough to get the vaccine out. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for sharing that. I'm sure many people are eagerly, awaiting this information, and I appreciate you sharing it with the state about our need to get more vaccinations here in the community. I'm curious, just for anyone watching, if you could just reiterate the process, so when more slots are available, where people can go to get that information. I know you mentioned 100 vaccinations a week, and that the senior center has been helping out. I know I've been getting a lot of calls, so I would love to just know where to direct people moving forward, and anyone who's watching, that they're able to have that information as well. Thank you.
Yeah, they can simply go to the Board of Health website. If you go on the city website, there's a link there that brings you right into the Board of Health website. If you have issues as far as the computer goes or don't have access to a computer, you can simply call down the senior center and they will take care of you. So a phone call to the senior center or go on the website. We want this to be as simple as possible. And this process needs to really get better, a lot better, before the next group in phase 2, because the next group in phase 2 is big. And they better start giving us more than 100 doses a week.
All set, Council Perlman?
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Landers?
Mr. President, thank you. I just want to mention, Mr. Mayor, I think people are very understanding, and I think between the first responders I've spoken to, the people that live at 240 Main and Pleasant Street, I mean, there's all kinds of compliments out there that we're doing the very best that we can considering the limited supply. I myself, I did go out of town. It's only that, last week, but you did get a big push today. One of my closest relatives, she called the Board of Health today, and I believe she's on for Wednesday. So that's the best PR you can have, because she'll tell the world, and the ones she doesn't tell, I'll tell. But I think they realize that, it's not on our level. It's a couple steps up. And, but you have received, I think, a lot of pats on the back, the setting up the clinics out there. Now you're doing with the vaccines, the first responders, and the seniors that are in the homes. And let's face it, that's where we needed it. I mean, that's where a lot of our really sick people, and we lost quite a few out there. So I think you guys will be ready. I know you will, our Board of Health and your office, that when the state finally comes across, and maybe it filters down from the federal government, I guess I get better if we gave you 5,000, you'd go nonstop.
Well,
You'd probably put your tax computer away for a couple of weeks and get it done. But good luck. Keep up the good work. I think.
Well, John Garside and his team's done a great job down there, and they continue to do a good job. And we've had the help from volunteers and from the nurses at the schools, so we're ready to go.
Yeah, the
He's
Board of Health
actually
is
had a
getting-
lot of the students and the nurses from Assabet come over, the ones that are have been trained and are allowed to give the shot. So we have the team in place. We're ready to go. But please tell her not to talk to more than 100 people, though, when she's spreading the word. So we got to
that's
keep
kinda
it
hard.
limited.
She will. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Landers. Any of the other councilors? Councilor Doucette?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And Mayor, again, thanks for the work for everyone all the work that everyone's doing in this incredible time. You said earlier that the testing that's done at New England Sports Center is lower than it was before. Is that because demand is down, or the window of, the hours are different or something like that?
Oh, yeah, no, the demand is way down. I mean, they still have a lot of cars going through, 500-600 cars. But we were up, I think they hit 1,900 one day.
How long ago was that?
What's that?
How long ago was that?
Well, it was around the holiday time,
Yeah.
but still, we're doing over 500 a day, so there's still a lot of cars, but they're getting through. The 2-hour, 3-hour wait isn't there any longer, so, that's the good news. But we need to move on to the next phase, which is the vaccines.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Anyone else? Anyone else? Again, Mr. Mayor, I thank you, and I would encourage, folks listening, the vaccines, they're being produced. It's a little challenging that we don't have them right now, but they will be coming. And the Board of Health, they've done a nice job getting ready, and, I look forward to having enough vaccines to start rolling this out on a more expedited basis when they are available. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Okay, before we start with agenda item 2 for the public hearing, let me just go over some public hearing comments before we get started. So for those participating in the public hearing, please keep your computer and phone muted when not speaking, unmute to speak, and mute when finished speaking. And if you're calling in via phone, unmute by pressing *6. Just like if the public was here in the chambers, please be respectful while waiting for your turn to speak. The system does not work when everyone tries to speak at once. We will do our best to give each individual an opportunity to speak, so please be patient. Do not watch the meeting on TV. There is a delay. Your remote access capability is real time. Should there be any technical issues, we will recess and determine if we can correct them. And then at the conclusion of both the second public meeting, the council will recess for a minute to reset the system and clear it of participants so the council can continue with the remainder of our agenda. So with that, agenda item number 2.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the petition from Massachusetts Electric to install a new solely owned pole number 5 in the public right-of-way on North Bigelow Street to accommodate substation expansion, order number 21-100-8189.
I'll remind the folks that the public hearing is taken in 4 stages. First, the public speaking in favor, then questions from the public speaking in opposition, and then finally questions from the city councilors. And I ask any member of the public speaking to please state their name and address for the record. So with that, public speaking in favor of the pole by Mass Electric on North Bigelow Street. Mike, that would be you if you're still on, Mr. Parent.
I'm here, sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, this is Mike Parent from National Grid, the Hopedale office at 245 South Main Street in Hopedale, Massachusetts. We requestfully asked to install a new pole. It looks like it's right on the Berlin-Marlborough line off of Bigelow Street. This is an old pole line. We're reconducting it with new cables and new engineering construction. And the span there is just a bit too long for what we intend to put there. So we need a pole. It works out to be midway between the 2 existing poles, but it sits on the Marlborough side.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Parent. I would ask the city clerk to read in the comments from our city engineer.
From Thomas DePercio, Council President Ossian City Councilors, regarding order number 21-100-8189, the petition of Massachusetts Electric to install a new solely owned pole number 5 in the public right-of-way on North Bigelow Street to accommodate substation expansion. I offer the following for your consideration. North Bigelow Street is narrow at this location, so the new utility pole shall be located as far off the paved road as possible. The proposed location shall be marked by the petitioner and the location approved by the Engineering Division prior to installation. I have no other issues with the petition. Please contact me with any questions. Thank you. Thomas DePercio, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Are there any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? And again, it's *6 to unmute your phone. Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Are there any questions from the public? Questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition. Are there any members of the public speaking in opposition? And again, it's *6 if you're on your phone. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilor Landers.
Where there's no other questions from the city council,
Oh.
I do have a...
Hang on, Councilor Orem wants to speak if you want.
Okay, I didn't see him.
Councilor Orem.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just logistics. The order actually says Mass Electric, but the person represents this as National Grid. Is it still considered Mass Electric for petitions?
It is, unless Mike, you want to answer that, but I believe the answer is yes.
We still operate under that name as well. I think we have a lot of easements and stuff that need to be covered. We still have Mass Electric as a company name for a different accounting and stuff like that.
Thank you for the answer.
Thank you, Councilor Orem. Any other councilors with any questions? Any other councilors with any questions? Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe I send my my bill every month to National Grid, so I think it's National Grid, I'm not sure. Mr. President, I do have a request, though. We got the letter that we received from Tom DiPersio, the city engineer, my conversation with him. What I'd like to do tonight, Mr. President, is bring this up under reports. And quite honestly, colleagues, what I'd like to do is ask for a suspension, all right, and actually vote on this tonight. This gives us a chance to, vote, get moving on this, and it would be something that would be ready in the spring, so they can expand upon that substation. So that's going to be my request, and I'll do it under reports. I think that would be the best bet. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Landers. Are there any other councilors with any comments or questions?
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Just a point of order. This was referred to Public Services Committee. I don't believe it is met, so I don't know how he can report anything out this evening. And since there really is no hurry, I don't think, is there a reason why this can't actually go to committee and go through the process?
No, thank you, Councilor Roby. The chair can ask for a suspension of the rules to bring it out of committee, even though it's never been there. And if the council agrees to suspend the rules and then vote on it to take it out of committee, then it becomes in the hands of the city council, and the city council can vote on it. Does that help you?
So the voting to take it out of committee would be done under committee reports?
Yes, the chair plans to ask for a suspension of the rules to remove an item from his committee.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Are there any other comments or questions from the city council? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just have one question about this. I will be supporting this, but I'm assuming that Mr. DiPersio's comments is going to be a condition for this?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Any other comments from the city councilors? I got to get through it 3 times. Any other comments from the city councilors? Comments from the city councilors? Hearing none, I close that part of the public hearing, the entire public hearing, and it is in public service with the potential to be reported out. Agenda item number 3.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the application for modification of a special permit from Todd Wilson on behalf of Diversified Funding Acquisition LLC, Atlantic Property Management, to add kitchenettes to existing guest rooms for use as an extended stay hotel and the conversion of the manager's residence to a guest room for a total of 65 rooms at 880 Donald Lynch Boulevard, order number 21-100-8171.
And again, this public hearing will be taken up in 4 stages. Public speaking in favor, questions from the public speaking in opposition, and questions from the city councilors. And I would ask any members of the public speaking to please state their name and address. So with that, public speaking in favor.
Yes, if I may, Mr. President, councilors, my name is Gareth Orsman. I'm an attorney with Pierce Atwood in Boston, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Diversified Funding Acquisition LLC, and I have with me Todd Wilson, who is both a senior vice president of acquisitions and a senior property manager. I don't think our presentation will be long. This is a pretty simple special permit modification request. I do want to thank the building commissioner, Jeffrey Cook, City Clerk Steve Kerrigan, City Councilor Secretary Karen Boole, and the tax collector. They all helped us put together or did their part on our special permit application so that we could get it in before the end of 2020 and get before you now as opposed to a few weeks. There is some time sensitivity to our request because we are the potential purchasers of this hotel. That purchase is somewhat dependent on our plans to get this city council special permit modification. Diversified Funding Acquisition is I guess I would say subsidiary or affiliated to Diversity Funding, Inc., which is a real estate company in Boston that's been around for about 45 years, has a diverse portfolio in the New England area of commercial property, hotels, apartments, condominiums, and they mostly manage and own their own property. So what you do get is a very local presence and one that's active in the community. And so we look to go places where we would be welcome. The property at issue here is in a limited industrial district where hotels are permitted by special permit. There is a special permit for this hotel. It was issued in 1986, October 6, 1986, by a city council. We could not find any original plans or application or anything of that, just a special permit and some correspondence about conditions that were met to contribute to public utilities. At this point, all that we are proposing is to add kitchenettes to the existing rooms and to convert the manager's residence into a guest room in hopes that we can facilitate longer stays and bring around business travelers who may stay and be part of the community for a little longer period. It does not mean that we're not opening the hotel or keeping the hotel open to people who are just there for a few days. We're really just bringing in some additional amenities. We submitted building permit application with plans in November. Building Commissioner Cook informed us that he felt we needed a modification of the 1986 special permit to put those plans into effect. And so that is why we are here before you with our application. The criteria in the zoning ordinance and the zoning act are pretty broad for granting a special permit, and I think the same would apply to a modification of an already granted special permit. The proposed changes have to be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance or bylaw, and they can be granted upon a general finding that the use sought and its impact and characteristics shall not be in conflict with the public health, safety, convenience, and welfare, and not detrimental or offensive. All the changes here are internal, just adding kitchenettes. There's no site plan changes, no adding or subtracting of parking. There are 70 spaces on site. Under the zoning bylaw, you only need one per room. So even with one additional room at 65, we have all the required parking. And we feel like just by adding these additional amenities to the hotel, it'll meet all of the criteria for modifying the special permit. So with that brief presentation, I'm sorry we don't have plans, but the plans are in your packet, and they are floor plans just showing the kitchenettes, and thought that was sufficient for purposes of our presentation. So we open it to questions from the public, comments from the public. Todd, did you have anything you wanted to add to that presentation?
No.
Okay.
Great job.
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orsman. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Are there any members of the public speaking in favor? Any members of the public speaking in favor? And again, if you're on your phone, it's *6 to unmute. Any members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Are there any questions from the public? Questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition. Are there any members of the public speaking in opposition? Members of the public speaking in opposition? And again, *6 to unmute if you're on the phone. Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Any questions from the city? Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm curious, have you done any type of study? Is there a demand for this type of setup, kitchenettes within a hotel room? Or are you just hoping to, bring more business there? Because I know we do have a couple extended stay hotels, down Route 20 there. So I was just curious, is there a demand for this type of setup? Or do you know? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Todd, would you like to speak to that, or would you like me to?
No, that's, there's definitely demand for it. We have full-time salespeople that go out and aggressively go after local businesses, traveling nurse groups, and those type of clientels, and that's who we cater to. Our competition is, the Homewood Suites and the Residence Inn that are in the area. We're more of a boutique, unbranded hotel, so we can compete at that level, that quality type of product, but at a slightly lower rate. And we go after and compete to get the local businesses. I mean, we typically can cater to 15 to 20 mile radius is a typical, all those businesses in that area we can get to come to our facilities. So it's a small 65 room hotel that we're confident that we can keep full.
I would just add to that. I mean, this is a successfully financially sound company, and we do lots of research before we buy a property. Obviously, the property contingent on the approval of plans that we think are going to be successful. I think how this differs from your typical scenario is it's not just a one or two person owner that's trying to buy something under a franchise. This is a Boston company with employees in Boston that does both the ownership and the management aspects of things. So it's a sound business, and yes, we do our research both on zoning and financial feasibility of a project, because nobody wants to buy something that doesn't work out.
Thank you. Does that work, Council Landers? You good?
That's fine for now. This is in urban, I believe, so we can have a lot more questions.
Okay. Councilor, go to Councilor Roby.
Thank you. I had raised my hand because I didn't think there were any other councilors with questions. And yes, this is in urban affairs. And I know in our packet, the only thing that we have is a sheet that shows the signature from the special permit that specifically says it's fulfilling the requirements of the fire department and legal matters pertaining to the sewer. So I know this will we will ask department heads to comment. And I know one of the questions that I would make sure that the sewer can handle having kitchenettes. So I will look forward to that discussion at the Urban Affairs Committee meeting. I hope you understand that you need to have a draft revised special permit for us, and when I know that we have that, I can set up a meeting to take this up in Urban Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just have one question. This is a local business. How many hotels do you guys currently running that are similar to this now?
Currently, we have one extended stay hotel that we own.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the councilors? Any other questions or comments from the city councilors? Any comments or questions from the city councilors? Seeing none, I'll close that part of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in Urban Affairs. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And I will ask for a 2-minute recess to clear out the system. So 2-minute recess. Call the City Council back into session at 8:41. We will continue with agenda item number 4.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $80,436 from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs awarded to the Council on Aging, which will be utilized for many of the enrichment programs and services offered by the Senior Center.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the grant. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
And Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the grant for the Council on Aging is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding a proposed amendment to Chapter 125 Personnel, Section 6 of the Code, to add a stipend for members of the Conservation Commission effective April 1, 2021. In addition, a transfer request from summer employment to Conservation Commission members to cover the proposed stipends through June 30th, 2021.
Counselor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to Finance Committee, please.
Motion is made and seconded to refer to the Finance Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the order to the Finance Committee is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding the reappointment of James Griffin to the Board of Health for a 3-year term to expire February 5th, 2024.
Counselor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Refer to Personnel.
Motion is made and seconded to refer to the Personnel Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the reappointment to the Personnel Committee is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding the appointment of Philip Short to the Board of Health for a 3-year term to expire on February 5th, 2024, replacing Robin Williams, who has served on the board for 6 years.
Counselor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to refer to Personnel.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Personnel Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mr. President,
Counselor Oram.
I would just like to thank Robin Williams for her dedication to our Board of Health. She has worked in other locations as a health agent, a health director, so she'll be missed. She brought a lot of knowledge, and again, many thanks for her years. And I know Phil Schott will fill those shoes pretty well. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Oram. Any other comments from the councilors? On the motion to refer to the Personnel Committee, the appointment, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
And Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the appointment to the Personnel Committee is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from Code Enforcement Officer Ethan Lippett regarding request for approval of a flat wall sign for edible, formerly edible arrangements at 1025 Boston Post Road East within the Wayside District.
President, Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, this is another one of those signs that's within the Wayside District. It looks like Edible Arrangements has expanded what they're doing as a business and has changed their name. Therefore, this business needs to conform to that new name and new signage. I would move to approve this evening.
Motion made and seconded to approve the name of the sign change for Edible Arrangements to Edible. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call a roll, please.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the name change for the edible sign is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from the Planning Board regarding a notice of grant of variance appeal to the sign ordinance for Serato Signs LLC on behalf of St. Mary's Credit Union, Starbucks at 133 South Bolton Street.
Mr. President, Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to accept and place on file this communication. The next item will get taken up. I do want to point out in the minutes of the meetings, there is the planning board minutes from when this was discussed, and there was comment that they would like to change the sign ordinance. Hopefully that can actually happen to make approval of these kinds of things a little bit easier. But for now, accept and place on file.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file. I will note that Dr. Fenby this evening is having trouble finding someone to change the sign ordinance. So we'll see where that goes. So motion made and seconded to accept and place on file. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call a roll, please.
Counselor Oram.
Oram votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Tenera votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 10.
Application for a sign special permit from Serato Signs LLC on behalf of Starbucks, 133 South Bolton Street.
Mr. President, Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
Thank you. So the variance has been approved. We now need to actually approve a signed special permit. So I'm going to move to refer this to Urban Affairs and set a public hearing for March 8th.
You okay? I've checked with the clerk and we can move it up to February 22nd for that public hearing, if you're okay with that, Counselor Roby.
That would be fine with me. February 22nd?
That is correct.
Perfect.
Motion made and seconded to refer to Urban Affairs, set a public hearing for February 22nd, and to advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Council Irish votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Council Oram votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
And Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer to Urban Affairs, set a public hearing for February 22nd, and advertise for the sign at 133 South Bolton Street is approved. 11-0. Number 11.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President,
Counselor Doucette.
motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards and commissions and committees. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
And Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file the minutes is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 12.
Claims.
Mr. President,
Counselor Doucette.
thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to send the claims to legal.
Motion made and seconded to send the claims to the legal department. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the claims to the legal department is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Reports of committees.
Mr. President, this is Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby.
As everybody knows, the snowstorm of February 1st canceled our meetings. Urban Affairs has rescheduled for February 18th at 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Counselor Roby. Who's next? Counselor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to ask for a suspension to accept the correspondence from the mayor in regarding the WMCT-TV FY 2022 budget, please.
Motion is made and second to accept accept the correspondence from the mayor on the cable television station's budget for fiscal year 22. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll for the suspension. Oh, before you do that, sorry about that.
It's okay.
I need to read a disclosure for a conflict of interest. I did send that, or had it sent out to all the councilors. So my wife, Linda, currently serves on the Cable Trust Committee, which oversees the expenditures on behalf of the trust to support the cable and the programming efforts provided by the cable station. I have reviewed this in the past and worked with legal, and there's no conflict of interest, so I have submitted this disclosure stating such. So just have that for the record, Mr. Clerk. Thank you. So, yes, you may now proceed with the suspension request.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to suspend the rules for the correspondence is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Counselor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer the transfer request of the WMCT-TV FY 2022 budget to the Finance Committee, please.
Motion is made and seconded to refer the transfer request for the cable station budget for fiscal year 22 to the Finance Committee. Any discussion on the motion?
Mr. President, it's Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was just curious. I know this was dated today, and I was just wondering why we were getting it at this juncture. I know it didn't make it to the agenda, so I didn't know if Counselor Irish had any other input to give us some background.
I'm happy to answer, field that question, Counselor Pearlman. The mayor had not made it to the deadline, but had asked it to get on because the cable station budget runs April 1st to March 30th. So we wanted to get in time. So there's really no challenge. It's going to go through its normal process. It's just a suspension to bring it in so that the Finance Committee can take it up under its normal process.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome, Counselor Pearlman. Any other discussion on the transfer or referral to the Finance Committee? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to refer the request to the Finance Committee.
Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Perlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Naven votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
And Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the transfer request for the cable budget for fiscal year '22 is referred to the Finance Committee. 11 in favor, none opposed. Counselor Irish, still.
Thank you, Mr. President. Get this off the list, too. Thank you. Finance Committee will be meeting on February 18th also with Urban at 6:45 PM due to the rescheduling of the snowstorm. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Counselor Irish. Counselor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, I was going to schedule a Public Service Committee meeting probably for about February 18th, but it's a pretty crowded night. So, walking out to North Bigelow Street, reading the letter from City Engineer Tom Dispersio, I kind of made the decision, Mr. President, that we'd have the public hearing. It will give members of my committee a chance to, they have an idea. I gave them a heads up that I would probably be looking for a suspension to work, to move forward on this. So that's what I want to do. This is a project that kind of expands a substation out there. You know, the ironic part of this, there's no abutters out there. So it's not the regular type of neighborhood situation. So what I'm hoping, Mr. President, that I would make a motion for a suspension, give members of the Public Service Committee a chance to ask questions from me or from anybody, and then for the whole committee to ask questions. And as a result, vote on this, move it forward for construction and plans for this could start right at the beginning of the construction season, which would be around March 1st, April 1st. As I say, this is an expansion of a substation. And I guess I can't think of any reason after walking again yesterday morning to delay this. So that's why I made the push to bring this up under reports. And so I guess I would be looking for a suspension. Then we can have some discussion, and then a motion to approve.
Let's see if we will. So there's a motion on the floor to suspend the rules to report out the poll request out of public service. So you got to get the 8 votes to have the suspension. So a motion to suspend the rules to remove out of the Public Service Committee, which will then put it in the hands of the City Council. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll for the suspension, please.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Perlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Naven votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
And Counselor Landers.
Council Landis votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Rules are suspended, so it's now in the capable hands of the City Council. Counselor Landers, what would you like to do?
So I would like to make a motion and vote on it tonight that we approve this petition.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the petition for the poll location on North Bigelow Street. Any discussion? Counselor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As was commented before, there has to be the condition put in to cover the reference to Thomas Dispersio. I'm not sure about the wording of this. My whole thing about this, as far as approving it, is it's the proper wording. So as long as the wording's fine, it's cool. I'm not sure if we're going to agree to get a draft of the wording done tonight. You know, if we can send it to legal or something to get the final draft, that'll be fine.
No, I'm sure, Councilor Landers, you want this to be approved with the wording, with the condition from the city engineer.
With the condition that he submitted, as he's done in the past. But the condition that he included in our letter would be sufficient, that where was the wording here that, yeah, he wants this utility pole to be located off the pavement as far as possible. But the key is that this location will be marked by the petitioner and the location approved by the engineering division prior to installation. That's the key. So in other words, they can't move on this, Councilor Doucette, until the engineering division has been out there and approves does the markings and approve it. So that would be the major condition.
So, Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm fine with this, it's just the final wording. Does this have to go to legal or not? That's really,
If I can, Councilor, no,
okay.
just like the other ones,
that's
because
fine.
the building, I mean, the city engineer is the one that has to sign off on the permit. He won't sign off on the permit unless the
Okay.
words, just like we did for the gas lines
Uh-huh.
on
Okay.
Bolton Street, Pleasant
So
Street.
no legal eyes have to see it, really?
No, the legal does not need to see it.
Okay, fine. Yeah, then that's fine.
Any other discussion on the motion to approve the installation of the pole with the condition from the city engineer? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Tenera.
Council Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the pole location on North Bigelow with the condition from the city engineer is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed.
Mr. President,
Counselor Tenera.
motion to adjourn.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Council Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to adjourn is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. We are adjourned at 9:05.
Good night.